program that addresses societal issues.
Frank Talk is a forum for you to air your views on some disturbing and soul-searching problems of life.
Frank Talk comes up every day from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Mondays to Wednesdays on CRTV Littoral.
Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, Vero.
She was here last
to
week.
Today.
She was here last week and we talked social issues, and today she's here again because there are other social issues that disturb us every day, and today we are going to be looking at the issue of adultery in marriages and how this affects marriages. Some people say that there are positive benefits of adultery, although we always only see the negative ones. So we'll be discussing all of that, We'll be discussing all of that and seeing how these things can kill or build relationships. Not so.
Yes.
Good morning once more and welcome.
That. And in all frankness.
In all frankness. And Ngonige Shwabunshari will be joining us later. And we will be having a few bars of music from the music album of Simon Pierre Mbok. And when we come back, we would actually specify what number we will be using today on Frank Talk.
Yeah, bye! Le président Choupo-Lazare, l'ex-sauveur de madame, revenait encore s'aventurer jusqu'à mon domicile. Quand j'étais en mission, il passait des moments très agréables dans mon foyer. Fonkwe, sur ton ancien chauffeur, mes voitures Fonkwe, avec ton ancien chauffeur, mon agent souffre.
Thank you so much, Simon Pierre Mbok and Prince Aimé. When we're talking adultery, I don't know why you choose to talk only about Madame who cheats on Monsieur. And of course, whether it's either way, whether it's the man or it's the woman, it's a social phenomenon that's everywhere. It's widespread. And to the extent that people who are not doing it are looked upon by their peers, especially the men, as not being very normal. First of all, Maria, what is adultery?
Simple for me, adultery is when, although married, either the man or the woman has a liaison with another man or woman.
Love relationship.
Yeah, a love relationship. And adultery, as a commandment, is a sin. Adultery as a social mishap is a crime if the certain factors, if you catch the man on the matrimonial bed, for example, three times
with witnesses,
or yeah, well, but for the woman it's different,
when the man greets her, you can decide that she has committed adultery already.
Whatever.
So when you've written something, about adultery. Yes. But let me ask you, we're in a community where polygamy is permitted. And to marry a woman, you need to court her. So the period of courting, while you have your first wife and you're courting your second wife, is it considered adultery when maybe you've declared your intentions of wanting to get a second wife?
No, that is when it is not. And that's why it's even difficult. The law makes it difficult to say that the man committed adultery because how would you prove that that is not the second wife he was actually courting? Especially if you guys signed polygamy. And that this particular woman is not the first time he's with this woman. So, I mean, and you say declared his intentions, that means that really he's thinking seriously about this woman. And that's why you have to have caught him 3 different times and on the matrimonial bed. Because even if he's
courting
this woman, he shouldn't bring her onto the matrimonial bed.
When they are not married yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you wrote something about it. What about that?
Yeah, I wrote about my own adulteries. That's very daring, but I did that. Well, in a different context. I wanted to say what I went through and the kind of life I was living beneath, which people don't know. But writing about adulteries also for me was like throwing more light on this societal ill and as committed by a woman. And I know that when a woman commits adultery, it is much more of an abomination than if the man does that. And in my own case, it's very funny because I was never caught. I always like saying I caught myself. And then, it's detailed in my book. And it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't thrice. It was 6 times or 5 or 6 times with all kinds of people, from a one-night stand to a 2 months or a 6 months relationship. And there are different reasons and different, what can I say? We lived it differently, each of these episodes. And I learned something from each of these episodes. And at one point I couldn't take it anymore. And so I decided to leave my marriage, So I can at least speak with some expertise on this issue.
You were the one
adultery.
Committing adultery, not your husband.
Well, I can't speak for him. I don't know what he was doing.
You're speaking for yourself.
Yes.
So now, what are some of the factors in a marriage that will push either one to start having another relationship? Is it just being vulgar, or there is a need for something? What is it that pushes people to?
I will always speak for myself. Emotionally, I was wanting.
There was a vacuum.
Yes, sexually there was a vacuum. Emotionally there was a vacuum. And emotionally, that's very, very important for me as a woman, and I guess for other women. When there's that vacuum, whatever material or otherwise stuff you try to fill up that vacuum with, it doesn't fill up.
And so that was something that later on you didn't find honorable.
No.
What was it? Because you like, there is a vacuum and you go out to fill this vacuum. Did you ever feel it?
Not really,
it brought you more problems than solutions?
Yes, it did, because somehow morally I know it is wrong, right? So I keep wishing that I get it back home so as to make it a holistic home, but I don't have it. And each time, for example, the very first time I stopped after the first time, the second time I stopped after the first time and stuff. Because as much as you get it just that one day when you guys meet and you talk and talk and talk and you go and make love and everything, when you get back home, you really feel so filthy. I think it can be compared to any other addiction. When you're injecting yourself, when you're drinking those bottles of beer and all of those things, you're really happy, you're like pacified, you're like consoled. But immediately it cools down. You look at yourself in a mirror and you're like, what am I turning into?
And so, how much guilt did you feel? And what are you telling us today about it all?
About adultery?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Is it something you do when there is a vacuum, or is something you don't do? Because they say the woman's body is like a temple. Don't you think that maybe doing that is what contributed to your marriage not going through that period of the storm?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because we know of cases where there has been, and they keep being adultery, and the people somehow make up. And I mean, that's not the worst of the worst of the worst. Society thinks that that's the worst thing that can happen in a couple, but for me, I really don't think that's the worst thing. Or I'm not justifying it, but it happens, and I'm admitting that I committed them. That's fine, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not more in that marriage. But I think that my marriage in the first place didn't take off on the right footing. So I don't even want to think that the adulteries killed it. It was dead long ago.
It's just an issue of when there is a bad situation, other bad things just keep falling inside.
Yeah.
So the number is 3342 7211, 3342 7211. What do you think of adultery? Because there are people who think that it stabilizes marriage. And here we are having Maria Abanga, who has experienced it in both ways. And she says, no, it's a very bad thing. It's not a good thing because it doesn't fulfill you. It keeps you feeling low. It keeps you feeling dirty. And there are other people who think, I've heard men say that adultery is not a bad thing to a relationship because they've had experiences where it stabilizes their marriage. But you have to be careful for your wife not to know. So I wonder, we have somebody on the line. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Doctor,
Good morning, welcome.
my own humble opinion, anything was commanded by God, respected. Adultery, a bad thing. Come to think of it, when you go through maybe that process for a while, you come back, and if you are somebody who has a conscience that reflects on what has happened, you yourself sometimes you discover that you are not able to make even 5,000 francs a day. And at the end of the day, 10,000, 15,000 francs. Why? Because you want to involve yourself in adultery. How? And now, how do you look when you move on the way? Maybe you from one woman to the other or one man to the other. And when these people themselves turn and look at you, how do they look at you? What picture do they really paint out of you? What do you yourself really look yourself to be? So I will really say a very bad thing.
Yep.
A very bad thing. Then please, 1 minute, let me say something which if it's not taken. Population of where?
Morning we are discussing adultery and the impact of it on marriages. We were talking about the possibility of adultery being a positive thing in stabilizing
or
a
having
marriage.
just a little something.
Yes, to contribute to stabilize a marriage that has its ups and downs.
What I can say from my own experience is that maybe I would have left long ago, but for this series of adulteries. Why? Because each of these people always kept encouraging me to stay on. Yes,
they are doing it with you, but they want you to remain married.
Yeah, well, they were not doing it with me with the intention of pulling me out. They were doing it. We had our different reasons. Well, just to be, we started off as just being friends, emotional friends and everything. And then what happened. But they always kept saying, you have to give it a try. And that's why even after the first time, I thought my ex-husband, I wasn't happy. I think I was going astray. And I really think we needed to go for some marriage counseling and sanivapa and everything. And he didn't believe me. He was like, oh, tu racontes n'importe quoi and stuff. And so we tried. We went for marriage counseling, one session. That was all we could do.
And you quarreled more than you listened to the counselor. Usually you see you see people get there and they kind of just reflect what happens in the house daily.
Yeah. And so, yeah, each of them. I think maybe that is the only good thing I can see out of it, is that sometimes you come out of it much stronger. You come out of it, either you come out of it knowing that, well, you cannot get it all at home. You have to be strong for, some people will say, for the children. You know, it happens a lot in our society. Some women say, for example, if it's the man who keeps going out and out, and you're like, well, it's for my kids, let me stay here, you know. And sometimes you're like, okay, let me take him as he is and hope that with age or with time he's going to change. And so you kind of tolerate and maybe even try to love him more, try to fill up whatever you think was the vacuum, and then maybe he comes back and he says he's sorry and everything, and then you guys move on together.
You wash the bad luck, as they say in the village, and move on.
Yeah.
But it is often said that women have multiple hearts. They can forgive and move on even when the man is playing around. But that when the man knows that you're doing that kind of a thing, no matter what he's done to you before, it's a psychological thing. He will never feel secured with the woman again.
Yeah,
don't you think that adultery from the woman's end, it's more dangerous for a marriage than that of a man?
It is because unfortunately I heard of an incident where a man killed his wife. I don't know if she really, well, we've known other ones, remember, but another one where a man actually went to her job site, maybe because he suspected or whatever, and he killed her and he committed suicide. You know, but I've not heard of a woman who killed the husband because she suspected.
If Shari were here, we'll tell you that they do it every day, but they do it silencieusement.
Oh,
They will not take a gun there. They say women will poison, they will do this, they will do that. A lot of people will argue that out. But I think that adultery by the man usually has never really been a very good reason why a woman would want to kill the husband, because generally women will stress about it good, but what matters to a woman is how you treat her and not what you're doing with other women. The number is 33427211. What is your opinion about adultery and the impact of this activity in a marriage? Now we are living in a community where some people will do anything to keep an image. What do you think is the image? You have children.
Yeah. For example, even writing my book, people were like, what do you think would be the repercussion on your kids coming on air like this and everything? What do you think? Oh, my boy knows. My boys know. They follow. They have recordings. They know about my book, and they know about everything I did. And so for me, the image is my image. What I want is for my boys and for myself. And I think that the truth is setting me free, and it's making us all happy. As for societal image, well, I think I've had much more positive feedback than negative feedback. Yeah, some people are not my friends anymore. I'm such a shame, but I really don't care. And then some people are like, you're so courageous, and it's true, each and every one of us has a story. So for that, we acclaim you, we applaud you, and so long as you're moving on. I think even if you want to go by the Bible, that was Mary Magdalene, right? We have her story, and we have a lot of other instances. Even if we want to just go by society, who says that the prostitute of yesterday cannot become
the saint of tomorrow?
I mean, we have a very good example, which I will not quote, but we all know it in this country. So
actually, let me ask you, you are doing a mea culpa here. You're looking for redemption, salvation, or whatever. And now let me ask you, I know what I'm asking you, it really doesn't matter how you handle your life, but it's about your ex. How has he reacted to this all?
Oh, it's funny. I haven't been able to see him since I came, but he knows. We talked about it on phone and on Facebook and Skype before I came, but maybe he's not yet ready to see me face to face. But
was it a difficult divorce?
Yeah, it was. It was a difficult thing, and I think that he still feels like he wasn't up to it to do it, and that he was doing what he thought he was doing in his own way to keep the home, but that was not good enough for me. But I keep telling him it's not his fault. It was more of me, and I had some mental issues, and I was depressed, and I have a lot of baggage I came with into the marriage, and he also had his, and so we really can.
And it's rare for people to be honest enough to say that this thing is not working. It's also my fault, because generally, with us women, we pick so much on the little things the men do, and so much we don't take a look back at our contribution in the way we react, because life is action and reaction. So when somebody's doing something, the way you react to that thing defines how far it goes or what the results come out to be. That's why something can happen between two sets of people, and the result is usually not the outcome is different.
So it is for all these reasons that I decided to come up and be that scapegoat, so that you don't just read from books or stories out there in the US or from self-help books, but you actually put a face to the person telling you this is a
classmate, this is a neighbor, it has happened to her, and it's happening to a lot of people. Okay, she used to walk around this neighborhood, and you think she's the perfect woman, but she was not. And so many women are not perfect. Generally, women want to complain and whine about adultery committed by men. This is serious. A woman owning up to say women do it too.
Or that I did it. Maybe no other woman does it. I don't know. I can only speak for myself.
Yeah. Speaking for yourself is a reflection that women do it too.
But, the fact that we also have some kids who are not born of the man they married tells us that they went to get it from somewhere. Although I never had a child born out of wedlock, but I committed adultery,
The number is 33427211. Gonige Shwaibun Share has waded his way into the studio. So I wonder whether he was in some of those activities we are discussing today.
You are not good.
To wake up late in one neighborhood which is too far away.
It's traffic. I think it's traffic.
Which is too far away
No.
to come and reach here. I like the way Shara is smiling as if to say, who sent you? Good morning, my brother.
Good morning indeed, my sister. Really, who has sent you? Like you say, far from what you are saying, like I hinted a short while ago, I had some few issues urgent I had to address. My wife lost her cousin and had to rush to the village this morning, so I was running to left and right to accompany her to the car park to go, and before I could realize it with the traffic jam and so on, I could not really make it on time. And so I'm sorry for the late coming, which has been owing to reasons beyond my control. But that notwithstanding, I'm happy to be with the team. And the topic you people are discussing is a very, very interesting one, something very, very topical. It exists on a daily basis. And Vero was just trying to say probably I was a victim of that, and that accounted for my late coming. A perpetrator.
Not a victim.
Far from it. In fact, for many people who know me, I hardly do that. I used to, but for quite some time, I have not been.
You've sent that one and Nakskin.
Yes, but real Nakskin, like you say, because it is unnecessary headache. Apart from the fact that it is something forbidden by God. But you ladies, I have this impression when you look at our society, it looks as if more and more people have the tendency of thinking that adultery is the only sin that can be understood by God. Because you see the type of people who indulge in that practice, even men of God, some of them freely go out with some of their Christians who are married women.
And break homes.
Yes, and break homes. As if to them that is not a punishable sin as far as God is concerned. I don't know. Unfortunately, I must admit, I've not been following you people from the start because of the up and down movement I just told you about. So, but all the same, when I glance through Mary's book,
My Unconditional Love.
Yes, My Unconditional Love, My Hurts, My Adulteries, and My Redemption, I got away with the fact that it was a veritable autobiography. I was about to ask Madam, what prompted you to actually come up with such a testimony, if I should put it that way, something that many people always hide. You have not only decided to make your own public, but to put it in writing so that it will remain permanent, because they say written word never passes away. What gave you the courage to actually come up with that piece?
In the very beginning of the book, I say, imagine if you had Mary Magdalene's own autobiography. And we all know the story of Mary Magdalene and how it ended for her. Whether we believe it or not, that's that. And then, so in society, as you say, it's something that happens. And I was telling Vero that people think that it's only those free girls who are not married or prostitutes or what would do those kind of things. So I said, if I put myself out there, a lot of people know me, and they know me in the robes, the lawyer robes, or in whatever other setting and everything. But I don't know what I have done in me and what I have gone through and everything. And I think if you have a face to put to a story, and this time a true story of somebody you really know, so you can say, yes, she said it, and if she says it, it can't be a lie, because she wouldn't be telling those kind of lies about herself. And that those are the things that happen. The reasons are there for each of them, why and what I got out of it and what I didn't get out of it, and the consequences are all there in that same book. So I put it there so people can really see that and make out of it what they want,
So can one by that say you have turned your back to adultery and you are sort of trying to tell people about the adverse...
My mess is a message. And the drastic consequences
Yeah, exactly.
And I can't say there were good ones. The only little good one was that I think I left much more emotionally prepared to move on and to stop committing adulteries. That's what I can say I took out of those adulteries.
When you talk of negative effects or consequences, I don't know, as I said, I've not been following from the beginning. Have you tried to bring out some of them so that people who think adultery is the only sin that God can understand or does not punish?
I never even thought about it. I think he can understand everything. If you believe in God, then you know that the Bible tells you that he can forgive everything.
But when you keep doing it recurrently, you expect God to forgive you all the time?
What bad thing is there that people don't keep doing recurrently? Nobody should throw the stone at another person.
What we are saying, you see, God says you should beg for forgiveness, but if you make it look like an abuse to God, that you just say, okay, since
God forgives, I would do it
and
do it again.
Yes, I'll do it and do it again, you will forgive me. Is that what you're advocating?
No, I'm not advocating that, and I'm not so religious to actually talk justifying it. Although I know something, but I don't want to overemphasize or explain it from that angle. I'm explaining from my social angle, from what I did. I wasn't even thinking so much about whether he would or he wouldn't. I just know that he loves me, and that. What can you say? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
So they usually say.
Yeah, some people just think they're righteous and they are not. They can't do something over and over again. They are so careful. They don't fall. But I say I fell several times, and now I'm standing up and I'm moving forward.
And from your book, you even fell with somebody who was a seminarian at one moment.
Not only that, even with a priest himself. Yeah. So that is what you were talking about, exactly. That they do that. I think that we should leave out their robes and just look at them as human beings. They are also going through so much. Sometimes you don't know the extent of that vow you are making. You don't really, you think you will count on him to keep you strong. But somewhere along the line, the human frailty comes in. And I think that's why they fall. And, the ones I knew, I looked at them like that. It's something when you're together, you don't even think about all of those other things. From my experience, that's what I'm saying.
Has somebody who has gone through that, your book, ever told you, especially a fellow lady of your, like you, ever told you that you sure you are not mad to be saying such things or to be making such
No, nobody has told me that. I'm even the one who is saying that I think I even had some mental issues.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very depressed and...
Yeah, because many are those who, when they read this, they will say, whoever heard of this? Somebody recounting this type of life experience.
I don't mind it. Mental illness is not... It's not an abomination. It's not a taboo. We are the ones out here who don't know about it.
Yeah. No, what I'm simply trying to say is to actually appreciate your courage. It is really great.
Several people have done that. A few others have.
Especially the type of courage that helps to enlighten people, that helps to actually guide people to avoid falling into descent.
If you have fallen, know that that's not the end, and know that you can redeem yourself. You can redeem your marriage if you really truly love your spouse. Honesty for me right now, it's very, 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 very important.
You said if you love your spouse, do you think it is really possible for someone to actually cheat on the spouse? When you love that spouse, can you really say you can cheat when you love the spouse?
Even if when you love your spouse, I don't think it's the same degree 24/7 or throughout the marriage. There may be an episode. There are always episodes, when there will be a loophole or something, and you may.
And so, what do you do at that time not to fall in this? What is the thing that you think back today and you think that you would have done not to fall into
avoid
that,
falling
to avoid falling in that when it is the how do they call it, the low tide?
Yeah. If I really love him like I love the guy I am with now, we talk about it. None of us has had that kind of low time when we could think of something like that. But I'm saying that kind of low time. It doesn't mean we've not had low times or misunderstandings. But maybe because we handle them, we don't sleep with with the problem.
You don't go to bed
so
with
it doesn't grow.
Yeah.
I think it is when you have a problem and then each person starts ignoring the other person. That
looking to win the case instead of resolving the problem.
Yes, that's when that temptation to actually just find some temporary solace. The men, some people go for beer, some people go for drugs, some people go for other women, some people go for other men. There are all these vices, but as you said, they happen in society.
Could you, when you say that, can you, from your experience, tell us probably some of those things that could push somebody to indulge in adulterous acts?
I was telling Vero at the beginning of the program that for me it was an emotional loophole, and for me it was trying to find a way out of that same marriage I had gotten myself into, thinking that was going to be a solution to my mental, what can I say, imbalance or depression or whatever. Yeah, so I was happy to have a friend with whom I could talk for hours and after that make love and feel happy and then go back home, even if I don't go back to this same person again.
We have someone on the
line.
Okay.
We've lost the caller. There is, Madame Abanga, there is this situation whereby you must have been very lucky because our society is such that once they know that you have been indulging yourself into adulterous acts, it becomes very, very difficult for you to eventually get married again, especially if you leave the man. You want to hook up with some other person. If any person who knows you is aware that our societal tendency is that they will tell that person.
Maybe that's why I went out there.
Whether it has no impact
Maybe
on
that's
your
why I
present
went out there.
relationship.
No, he's white. He's a French man and everything. He knows everything about me. He edited my book and stuff. He doesn't mind. He knows that's the past. He says we are not tied to our past, Okay. So I'm very lucky, as you say, yes.
And generally, mostly, I must say, only wise easily take things that way.
They don't easily take it because they take it more violently than we take it.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
Take it because here
that's
you will send away the wife and something, but usually they become very violent when they feel cheated, especially when they still love the woman. It's a very key thing to handle with them.
Yes, I was also talking most especially in terms of...
somebody on the line. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, Kejan.
Good morning to Marie.
Good morning.
Kejan.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Henry.
Well, I just want to say, once you have repented, you are always admitted to the society. So, I don't think the publication will actually impede Marie from having another relationship. Why? At least some people will consider that as full confession and want to have good relationship. And Marie certainly, as she has already published her confessions, will want to live a more sinful life. A more sinless life. Thank you.
Thank you, Kejang. And Marie, you have anything to say to Kejang after that observation?
Kejang, thank you so much for that. And talking about admitted back into society, it's funny. It's nice. I never even felt rejected in the first place. Maybe because, as Shari says, I wasn't caught. I caught myself. So I'm the one who is coming up. Before I came up, nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that you did it.
Yes, I know. It's so funny.
That is why I was saying you are very courageous, and the courage is something very, very commendable because you voluntarily decided to come up and let people know.
It eats you up terribly in there. People keep thinking that it is
because
the person going out who is enjoying.
Okay.
You are sick.
Indeed.
Sick is not only when you sleep on the bed in the hospital, everything. People do different things. We have to admit that sometimes the brain goes, you don't think normally again. It's unconventional. That's why I call it that way. It's like, that's how I was thinking. I was just thinking, I'm finding much more happiness out there. Although it was temporary happiness, or it was terrible. It was morally incorrect. But I just thought that way. So nobody could make me reason anything. Even when I told my mother about it, but then I had already made up my mind to go and everything. She didn't even really discuss it with me and stuff. But I wasn't in the mindset to even try to understand whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense to anybody. I just knew that I was okay. I was doing it my way. I was living my life. I was happy, but I wasn't. And that's why I almost committed suicide. And then thereafter, I decided to leave this country altogether. So I'm coming back now much, much stronger. I'm coming back now already in another relationship, being very happy and everything. It's true that I'm not with my kids. I'm suffering from that. But as I told Vero, my case is also peculiar. It was not really the adulteries that damaged my marriage. The marriage was already a wreck. But it also helped. It made me feel so terrible and told me that the only way forward is actually to leave, because if I don't leave, I will die. Yeah.
We have someone on the line. Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, please.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm so concerned with your program, and I really appreciate the lady. I just wish to contribute and to say the Bible says much about adultery, that if actually you have repented of that sin, then it is actually good. But one thing we need to know is that the Bible really condemns it. And if she has taken that duty to actually write the book, I really appreciate her for that. And to give her the verses of Ephesians 5 verse 11, which says, "Take no part in the unfaithful works of darkness, but instead expose them." That's what she did. I think she is really doing something good. Just to say, if actually you have committed adultery, maybe you are possessed, you need to really need to be connected to your Lord. You need to really be connected to God and ask Him for forgiveness, because He will only take His grace to forgive you from that sin, because it's a sin that involves both your body and your soul. Yes, so I wish to really thank you for such a program, and it is really teaching others. And I think if the Reverend Man of God could really call to explain to us, it will really help us, because many people, even the Bible says it as clear: he who looks at a woman lustfully commits adultery. So we commit it without knowing. So it's really something that we need to deal with, because it's really, there are a lot of stresses that comes as a result of that. I will really ask her, even if she still has a family at home, with the former spouse, I will really encourage her to pray very hard and commit that family to God. And maybe it was the work of the devil that was pushing her into that hand. Thank you so much. I am Banyi. I'm calling Duala.
Thank you so much, too.
Thanks indeed for your wonderful contribution, especially from the moral standpoint, from the biblical standpoint. And he has just joined many others, like some of us, to actually say it was a commendable act, having come up with that piece, the book you've written, My Unconditional Loves, My Hurts, My Adulteries, My Redemption. Really, like he says, when you something like adultery, he says we all commit it sometimes, or many people, if not most, commit adultery sometimes without knowing it. When you see a lady and you admire, when somebody looks at the title, sometimes My Unconditional Loves, the person will not believe that the person's talking about loving unconditionally.
Unconventionally, no. Shari, it's
okay, unconventional. Yeah, exactly.
Unconventional.
Sorry, unconventional love. Yeah, no, it's true. No, I really, it's okay, because when I first looked from afar,
it could not be unconditional. It was unconventional, because those are the loves that don't go according to the conventions of society.
Yeah, unconditional would have been incongruent with the issues raised. So what more advice can you give to people who are still entangled in the type of situation you once found yourself in? You know, like they say, the bag of advice is never full.
Yeah, I'm not best placed to give an advice, because I left my marriage, so it cannot be that the adultery saved by marriage. Vero, like you said, some people have said so.
Yeah.
But on my situation, it's still peculiar, no doubt. But I would say that, frankly speaking, for me, it's a very bad thing. Whether we look at it from the Bible point of view or not, it's not everybody who believes in the Bible or in God. So we cannot only be talking about it, looking at it from that angle. Unfortunately, we would think that anybody who doesn't believe in the Bible or in God is not a normal
even our
person.
society, all the 10 commandments are found in our traditions, in our cultures.
So that's good. That's good. I mean, I'm just saying that it's not the Bible that needs to tell you that it's not a good thing to cheat on your spouse.
Yeah, the Quran says it.
When
Our
you find yourself entangled in that, I mean, it's good to untangle yourself. And I was telling Vero, if you love your spouse and there was just that loophole that happened and then you found yourself in that kind of an act, unfortunately, I mean, tell him, try to make peace. If you guys really love each other, then you are friends, then I think you won't understand. If the person didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. And so people have lived with such things in them up to their graves. If I didn't write this book, people wouldn't know.
Of course, God alone knows how many carried them to the graves, the secrets to their graves without anybody knowing, and some even feel happy that they have succeeded in keeping the secret. So with you, it was a burden in your heart that you thought that if you did not put it down, you will not really feel comfortable.
Yeah.
As you say, it was mentally destabilizing you.
Yeah.
So how, we still have some few minutes to go.
Yeah.
You say each time you think about your children you had with the first husband, it somehow worries you that you people are not together. I wanted to know whether from time to time you do at least have access to them.
Yeah, they're with me right now as I'm on vacation.
Okay,
when I go, then they will go back. And I didn't want to cause any trouble. I deliberately left them with him. They are his children.
Of course, it's very normal.
Yeah.
So I'm also happy to know that he's not that type of complicated person, because with some men I've seen situations where when that type of relationship breaks down, resulting most especially in divorce, the tendency for the husband is to forbid the wife.
Oh, no, he did.
He
did in the beginning. He did that. The first time I stayed for like 8 months without being able to talk to them.
Okay.
And I have been through so much. It's there in the book, but it's okay. And I didn't fight back. I could fight back, but I didn't, because I knew what I had done, and then I thought that he deserved that. Yeah.
Okay. That in a way too is also. So we have a caller. Hello.
Yes, good morning. I want to find out from Marie, when are we launching that book, My Unconventional Laws?
Very interesting question, because people are itching to have access to your book.
When I will come back, but for now I'm going to press book after this, so that I can they can print it and carry it for me. Launching, I really don't have much time in Cameroon anymore.
But at least
I'll come back. Maybe for Christmas.
Before you come back, can people have access to the book? Maybe from bookshops you are talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to press book.
So when do you think the book can be on the market?
Hopefully, when you have money, anything can happen. So I'm going to, when I'll talk to them, I think maybe by the end of July or mid-July.
So soon, which means next July.
Yes, this is end of the month. By the end of the month, if you can pay for the book, then you are going to get it. So I'm going to talk with Pressbook, and I'll get back to you and to all other outlets, and then we will know.
Very interesting, because many of us are eager we are looking forward to that, and maybe we have a caller again. Hello?
Well, let me intervene the last time. I beg your pardon. Please, can Marie get to me after the program?
Who is calling?
Kejang.
It's Kejang, our colleague of Canada.
Yes, Kejang. Okay, I will, Kejang.
Okay, she has promised she will do so. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, Vero, if not, maybe just the last word from Marie before.
Yeah, actually, I just want to appreciate her courage and to tell her that, like, I was asking you questions about how is that affecting you, how is it affecting your children, why would you want to write about all those things, why would you want to speak aloud what so many people are doing and even not admitting that they are doing it. So I think
alone confessing.
Say it, come to the radio, talk about it. And I think that if people could listen to you without judging, but judge themselves, they would see where you're coming from and see how they can correct some of the mistakes in their lives. And even if you are a woman and you're not committing adultery and your husband is doing it, it's not a reason, as you said, to kill the relationship. You can be patient enough to look at what your contribution is inside that is pushing him outside, so that you can
vice versa.
Or vice versa. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Vero. Thank you, Shari. I didn't know I was going to get this kind of reception back home, because I know the kind of society I grew up in and I left, but that for me. It was more of a therapy than whatever society will make of it. So I'm even happy the message is receptive, and as you say, people don't judge, although I don't really think anybody has a right to judge any other person. Yeah.
But many people, there's people like that who think that they have the authority to judge others. You wonder who gave them the authority. But like Vero said, it's really a wonderful piece, and it is a courageous thing. And I dare say an eye-opener to many people, to many of us. And we hope that when that book will eventually be on the market, the public will be met to understand that the book is on the market, so that people can go from it, tap from your experience, and maybe correct their own situations, their own problems that they are going through. Thanks very much, most especially once again, for coming to CRTV to talk.